Good day po sa lahat, si Fiscal EJ po ito. Let me start with a simple question. Kung may nag-abot sa iyo ng 1,000 peso bill, naiisip mo pa ba kung totoo ba yan? Most of the time, hindi na. Tinatanggap na lang natin agad because we trust that the money circulating in the economy is genuine. But imagine a society where fake bills, fake government bonds, and forged financial instruments are everywhere. Magdadalawang isip na ang tao tumanggap ng pera. Magsasuffer ang business at babagsak ang tiwala ng publiko sa financial system. That is precisely why the law is very strict pagdating sa forgery of currency and credit instruments. Now, under the revised penal code, Articles 166 to 169 protect the integrity of money and financial documents. Pinaparusahan nito ang mga nagfo-forge, nag-i-import, nagpo-possess, at nagpapasa ng fake currency or falsified credit instruments. Let's break them down one by one. Article 166, Forging Bearer Instruments. This article deals with instruments payable to bearer. Ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng payable to bearer? Ibig sabihin, kahit sino ang may hawak ng document, pwede niya itong gamitin o i-encash. Possession alone is enough. The most common example, yung paper money. Kung hawak mo ang 500 peso bill, pwede mo na yang gastusin. Hindi na kailangan nakapangalan sa iyo. Another example would be government bonds issued to bearer. For instance, kung may 100,000 treasury bearer bond, kahit sino ang may hawak ng bond na yon, pwede siyang mag-claim ng payment upon maturity. Hindi natatanungin kung sino ang original buyer. So meaning, kung si Juan ang bumili, pwede niyang itago. Kung ibinigay niya kay Maria, si Maria ang pwedeng mag-claim. Kung manakaw ito, pwede ring mag-claim ng magnanakaw. Because of this, bearer instruments are very vulnerable to forgery and counterfeiting. That's why Article 166 punishes three main acts. First, forging or falsifying. Ito yung paggawa ng fake money or pag-alter ng genuine one. Halimbawa, printing your own 1,000 peso bills gamit ang printer, obviously forgery yan. Pero hindi lang paggawa ng fake. Pwede rin ang alteration, like modifying figures, letters, or markings sa tunay na pera para magmukhang iba ang value or authenticity nito. Second, importing forged instruments. Kahit hindi ikaw ang gumawa, basta dinala mo ang fake money sa Pilipinas, liable ka. Third, uttering. Uttering means pinapasa mo ang fake money as if it were real. The moment na ginamit mo yan pambayad, kahit ma-detect ng cashier na fake, committed na ang crime. Take note, consummated na ang offense kahit hindi tinanggap. Another important point, mas mabigat ang penalty kapag Philippine currency ang involved kasi directly affected ang economy natin. Let's go to Article 167, Forging Order Instruments. Now, this article is the sibling of Article 166. The difference? Article 166 refers to bearer instruments, while Article 167 refers to order instruments. Now, ano naman ang payable to order? Ito naman yung documents na nakapangalan sa specific person. For example, pay to the order of Juan de la Cruz. Para magamit ng ibang tao, kailangan mo na i-endorse ni Juan, meaning pipirma siya sa likod. Doon lang malilipat ang karapatan. Forgery here usually involves signatures. Halimbawa, ninakaw ang check kay Juan, tapos pinirmahan ng ibang tao ang pangalan niya para ma-encash. Clear forgery yan. The key idea here is, since kailangan ng signature para ma-transfer ang document, forging that signature is already falsification. Okay, let's go to Article 168, Illegal Possession and Use. Now, what if hindi ikaw ang gumawa ng fake money pero nahuli kang may hawak nito? That's Article 168. This punishes illegal possession and use of forged instruments. But dalawang elements ang kailangan. First, knowledge. Dapat alam mo na fake yung pera. Kapag nabigyan ka lang ng sukli na fake at hindi mo alam, walang liability. Second, intent to use. Hindi sapat na hawak mo lang. Dapat ma-intent kang ipasa ito as real. Halimbawa, tinago mo lang as souvenir, hindi ka liable. Pero kung ginamit mo pambayad, doon papasok ang crime. There's also a legal presumption. Kapag gumamit ka ng forged document at nakinabang ka, pwedeng i-presume ng batas na ikaw ang nag-forge unless maipaliwanag mo kung saan mo ito nakuha. Kasi nga, forgery is usually done in secret. Last but not the least, let's go to Article 169, how forgery is committed. Article 169 explains how forgery is done. Dalawa po ang paraan. First, making a fake look real, meaning gagawa ka ng document from scratch na mukhang authentic. And second, altering a genuine document. Tunay na document pero binago mo ang laman. For example, may treasury warrant tapos pinalitan mo ang pangalan ng endorsee para mapunta sa iyo ang payment. That alteration is already forgery. Bakit parang sobrang higpit ng batas dito? Simple lang po, public confidence. Money works because people trust it. Kapag tumanggap ka ng pera, nagtitiwala ka na may value yan. Kapag tumanggap ka ng check or bond, nagtitiwala ka na legit yan. Forgery destroys that trust. Kapag kumalat ang fake money, magdududa ang tao sa bawat transaksyon. Businesses might refuse payments at babagal ang economy. In short, sinisira nito ang buong financial system. That's why these crimes are treated as offenses against public interest, hindi lang against individuals. Now to summarize, Article 166 refers to forging, importing, or altering bearer instruments like currency. Article 167 refers to forgery of order instruments like checks. Article 168, possession and use of forged instruments with knowledge and intent. And Article 169 explains how forgery is committed. Again, this is Fiscal EJ. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next Legal Explainer. Maraming salamat po.